finally here. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, Friday at AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas, 8 o'clock Eastern on Netflix. And so to get us some insight on how this is being received in the world of boxing at large here, Shawn Porter, kind enough to join us now, host of the Porter Way podcast, two-time welterweight world champion here. Shawn, good morning. How you doing, man?
Good morning. I'm happy to be with you guys right now, especially the older gentleman right there sitting next to you.
I appreciate that very much, man. I'm definitely older and whiter from, I'm sure, from the years when you were listening to me.
And we all still love it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Honestly, a great segue into a fight that's really interesting because the guy that we're getting ready to watch, at least one of them in Mike Tyson, 58 years old, really 20 years since his last sanctioned fight, and a guy stepping into this who, Shawn, certainly comes with the name brand. Everyone knows Mike Tyson. All people of a certain age have this image in their head of him as one of the most ferocious fighters ever. Where we're at now with his age, are you surprised that this fight's even happened? I know you were on record of saying you never thought it was actually going to end up getting done, right?
I didn't think it was going to happen at all. And then I went from, the first one when it got canceled, of course I was the see, I told you guy, but after that, seeing this next one, and then, I had a friend text me, there's a lot of promotion going on, a lot of promotional dollars happening here. And I said, yeah, they're actually going to go through with this. I thought it was a gimmick at first. I still believe that in a lot of ways, this is the gimmick of Jake Paul. And I think that people just have to appreciate who he is and what he's doing. You can't put him in a box of he's boxing. He's not boxing. He's a gimmick in boxing. And I think if you're able to understand that, then you can appreciate what he's trying to do.
So while those of us outside the boxing ring are going to have eyes glued and have seen his kind of going through the boxing world. In the boxing world, you're saying you boxers in the boxing world do not think of him as a boxer.
Most fighters in the boxing world don't think of him as boxers or as a boxer. I understand that he's put in the work. I appreciate that he's put in the work. So I look at him as a boxer. I don't look at him as the way that mainstream looks at him, like he's world championship contention, possibly could be a great or anything like that. No, he doesn't deserve the chance, the opportunity to be in the ring with Iron Mike Tyson. However, if that was a idol of his growing up, you have to salute this young man for putting himself in a position to be able to get in the ring with people that he has idolized as a kid. And you have to appreciate that.
Is there any bitterness from you in the world of mainstream boxing for how much attention Jake Paul gets for kind of being someone who's gone about this in the gimmick way that you mentioned?
Not me. I think I'm on record for saying that too. Like, he's bringing eyes to the sport. Appreciate what he's doing. Like, kind of welcome him into, I'm going to go ahead and say what boxing hasn't done. And I've even pitched this idea before to boxing. When I say boxing, I mean the business people of boxing. There was a big fight going on. I'll go ahead. It was David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. Stylistically, one of the best fights to be made in boxing. I text someone very important, invite Jake Paul to this fight, put him in the front row, and make sure he tweets that he's there. People are going to go because that's where he's at. People are going to want to watch because that's where he's at. Boxing has not taken advantage of him being a part of this sport. From day one, when you put the gloves on and you don't have a headgear on, you are a fighter. You put yourself in harm's way. He's done that now, I think 8 or 9 times now, maybe even 10 times. And so you have to be able to say, hey, he may not do it at the level that I've done it at. He may not have done it as long as I've done it, but he still has made a way for himself. And that's what boxing is.
To your point, he's competed 11 times in 4 years. He's never been stopped or knocked down. Now, he had the split decision with Tommy Fury in 2023. He's fought mostly UFC fighters, so that is part of the caveat of all this.
So again, like, here's a great example. I fought 11 times in my first year of boxing. In my first year of boxing, out of those 11 fights, I think 7 or 8 of them were knockouts. It's a part of the game. The difference is you guys didn't see the 11 fights that I had. People have seen his 11 fights. I'm happy for him because he's done things that you just most guys can't do. But people involved in the sport, especially guys who have been involved in the sport for 15, 20, 30 years, they're like, he doesn't deserve it. No, he does, because he played the game very, very well.
Okay, so now you take us inside where 99% of us can't go, in a ring where I would never step and get my face hit or my stomach hit and I'd throw up all over the ring. So can a 58-year-old man, now the rounds are 2 minutes, not 3 minutes, can he get himself in condition enough to go the distance if in fact this goes the distance?
Here's the thing most people don't know. 2 minutes, if done correctly, competed correctly, 2 minutes is actually harder than 3 minutes, because you have more output. There's less time for you to stand there and wait, more time of working. The more you work, the higher the heart rate goes. 2 minutes is actually harder than 3 if done correctly. I look at Mike as an antique car. He's a prized possession. The antique car, when you pull it out of the driveway, you're going to do 35 miles per hour. You might do 50 just to say, hey, I woke you up, but you're not going to do 100 miles per hour in that beautiful antique car. Mike is the beautiful prize that you push it to 100, but it ain't going to stay up there very long.
DraftKings and DoorDash have teamed up to deliver NFL fans the action that they crave. Take a shot to play completely free throughout the season for cash prizes and DoorDash gift cards. Build a roster each week and compete against the field. Finish at the top of the leaderboard and you'll take home a lion's share of $5,000. Play now at DraftKings.com/DoorDash. Eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. Terms apply. See DraftKings.com/DoorDash for details. Must be an account holder to play.
Again, 99% of us will never step in the ring and get hit in the face with any size glove. They're wearing 14-ounce gloves. How big of a difference is that to the, 10-ounce that you got, 8 or 10 ounce that you guys wear? 10 ounce?
Yeah,
so how much of a difference is that?
I'll play on the analogy. So if Mike is the beautiful antique car that is just kept in mint condition and he looks great, we've seen him do his workouts and things like that. Well, then now you got to look at Jake Paul as maybe the Lamborghini or the Ferrari, you know what I mean? But you've depreciated your value because you're putting on 14-ounce gloves. Why are you want us to take you serious? We want to, see something real, but now you're depreciating your value. Why are you putting on 14-ounce gloves? Why are you doing a 2-minute professional boxing round, but then making it sanctioned? You know what I mean? So this is when I say it's a gimmick. I'm not hating on the gimmick, but let's be honest. What we're watching is just the show.
Is there an advantage to either fighter with the bigger gloves?
I think if anything, him. Usually when you have the bigger gloves on, that means you have more padding. You're able to block the shots, absorb the shots. Like if you think about it like this, with the 8-ounce glove and you block, you still get hit in the face. Not much cushion there. With the 14, you block, you still get hit in the face. There's more cushion there. So in essence, we would think that would protect Jake Paul a little bit more, because what we've known of Mike is that he has unbelievable power. On the other side of that, when we talk about the impact of the punch, maybe you're taking some of the impact off of what Mike would actually be, what that impact would be if it were a 10-ounce glove that he typically would wear. So I think, man, if anything, you even the playing field a little bit. But when you're in the ring with a 56-year-old man, why do you need to even the playing field? I feel like that's enough,
Yeah. Well, and I mean, a lot of people are pointing to the age with Mike Tyson. The reason this fight was moved because he had the ulcer flare up that a lot of people were worried about back in July. Like, is there a worry of seeing Mike get hurt in all of this and knowing how much he means to the world of boxing, how jarring that would be?
I said, you know what? He's going to be fine. Don't worry. He's going to be good. I know a lot of people who envy Mike and have been fans of him for so long. A lot of people are truly just worried, especially after that ulcer flare up. You should have been worried before the flare up. And if you're worried now, I get it. But what I truly think is, again, when you're doing a 2-minute round and the 14-ounce gloves, you gotta. I think that there's enough respect going on in that ring that if either of these guys get into a comparable position, I think that the other would be respectful of the situation.
So outside of the 40 mil that Jake Paul's getting, so which is a win, is he really in a lose-lose situation? If he loses to Mike Tyson, he loses to a 58-year-old. If he beats Mike Tyson, he beats a 58-year-old. I mean, what's outside of the money, what's the gain?
At the end of the day, boxing is supposed to be entertainment. And I think that that's another thing that, first of all, people in boxing don't understand. They don't understand that this is entertainment. If a guy comes out dancing and wrapping himself to the ring before the fight, if a guy comes out wearing Michael Jackson clothes and moonwalks his way to the ring, it's supposed to be entertaining. And I think that that's what people can expect on Netflix Friday night, is just pure entertainment. He doesn't, this is no lose-lose for him. This is win-win for both guys, I think, in every way, because the number one thing, their number one objective is to entertain us. How they choose to do that is on them, and hopefully it's something that we all appreciate.
Well, and you mentioned the entertainment. It is a sanctioned fight in Texas. There are going to be judges on hand. There are people that can wager on this too. And so as you look at this, do you have a read on how you actually think this is going to go once they get in the ring?
I got to be honest with you, I do. And I actually screenshotted what I said to friends of mine. And I will, if this fight plays the way that I expect it to play, then I will post it. But listen, this is the only reason why I'm not going to post it now. I don't want to give anyone a reason not to watch this fight.
So, all right, so you won't tell us who you think wins.
That was very
do
cryptic,
you think
wasn't
it go? Do you, but
yeah.
How about this? Do you think it goes the distance?
It goes the distance.
Really?
All right.
Wow.
Goes the distance.
All right. So again, checking this one out, it's going to be 2-minute rounds, 8 rounds instead of 10 or 12. But Shawn is telling us he believes it goes the distance. So like you said, wants people to tune into this. This is a spectacle for boxing. It is an entertainment event. And there is no doubt, 8 o'clock Eastern in Arlington, we are going to have just that. Shawn, this has been a ton of fun, man. We appreciate all the help and insight on this. Thanks. And hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon. All right, man?
I appreciate you guys. Call me back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The great
Shawn
Porter, 2-time welterweight world champion, kind enough to join us today. Thanks, Shawn.
You got it.
You know what? The one thing we should have asked Shawn about is why the tiny shorts for Mike?
Yeah.
Like decided to go out there, the almost 60-year-old rocking the Speedo going. And I get it. If I was his age, I had a body that looked like Mike. And if I'm Mike Tyson, quite honestly, doing whatever I want in that regard anyway.
I mean,
no one's going to tell me otherwise.
Even though the dude's 58, he still scares the living hell out of me.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we talked about in the beginning of the show, the interview with the kid, that he just like lost sight that he was even talking to a child and dropping F-bombs and talking about death. I mean, the dude is just literally a scary human being.
He is. He's terrifying. He's also almost 60, and that worries me for this fight, Dad. Like, I know we talked and asked about, the ulcer flare-up that helped delay this fight in the beginning, and a lot of people questioning in general the safety of Mike Tyson in this, being an older guy going into the ring, was someone who obviously is nowhere near as accomplished as a fighter, never will be. Mike Tyson, one of the all-time greats, but again, just has youth on his side right now in this setting. I do think, like we've seen in a lot of these other instances of the gimmick fights, though, to Shawn's point, these guys are going to take care of each other. I don't think there's a world where Mike Tyson signs up for this to get embarrassed potentially in any way. Likewise for Jake Paul, everyone's trying to get paid. And I think while this is a sanctioned fight, I still don't think it's one where we're going to see one of these guys really try and kill the other.
And that's what bums me out, because that's what everybody knows. When you watch Mike Tyson fight, the opening bell rings and he goes charging across the ring like a rhinoceros, trying to decapitate his opponent. And I'm really kind of bummed, quite honestly, and because I'm not in the ring getting hit, that the gloves are 14 ounces. I mean, they almost look like pillows compared to what the in normal fights that they look like. And I definitely think that favors Jake Paul.
Senior. Yeah, I think all of this favors attention with probably less production once we get to it, if any of the past events are predictive. Now, they've found a way to make it entertaining, and a lot of these fights have also been good about the surrounding entertainment, making these into a spectacle. To Shawn's point, they understand how to sell this as an entertainment event. That's for nothing else.
But if Mike hits one of those uppercuts, it's over.
Senior, we need you. We need you in a Speedo. That's what we need, Senior.
No, God,
No,
please,
no.
No one needs that.
No.
Nobody wants this.
You wouldn't
But
see
coming
the-
up next, everybody wants a college football preview here on Gojo and Golic, so we'll give it to you next.